Heyo, what's up YouTube, and welcome to a new YouTube series. This YouTube series is gonna be called Kha Zix Versus, and we're basically gonna be going over all Kha Zix matchups in the jungle. And the first champion is Amumu. So Kha Zix versus Amumu matchup. The matchup is Kha Zix's favorite, and I have a few tips on how you can abuse this matchup so you can get ahead early. So before you even get into the game, you want to take, no matter if you're doing Conquer or if you're doing Dark Harvest and Kha Zix, you want to take Tenacity in your runes. If you're playing with Conquer, then you want to take Tenacity in your primary runes, and if you're playing with Dark Harvest, then you want to take Precision secondary, and then you'll have access to Tenacity. So the Tenacity runes gives you, obviously, Tenacity, but you need to stack it up first, and you stack it up by killing jungle camps. And once it's fully stacked, you get 30% Tenacity. And that works super well against Amumu, because Amumu has his Q and his ult, so he has two abilities that can CC you. You can basically reduce the duration that you're CC'd in by buying, or by getting Tenacity runes. The second thing is, in your runes, you want to take double AD, and then you want to take MR, because Amumu does AP damage, and by having a little bit extra MR, you can basically take a little bit less damage from him in the early game when you want to duel him. Then the third thing is, you want to be invading Amumu, since it is a Kha Zix third matchup. So the gameplay that we're watching right now is me full clearing, and this is not really how you want to play into Amumu. But I sadly don't have any gameplay against Amumu, because I simply haven't seen Amumu in high elo ever since he got nerfed in season 11. But what you want to do is you want to take 3 jungle camps, and then you want to invade his second buff. And you do that simply by putting your trinket level 1 on either red or blue to get the information on where Amumu starts. And then you know which buff he is starting and which buff he's gonna be farming towards. So this basically means that if you ward the enemy red buff and you see, okay, Amumu is not here, he's starting on blue, well then you want to take your, let's say in this situation, we put a, we're playing blue side. Or let's do this situation. In this situation, we put a ward on Amumu blue. And then we see, okay, Amumu is starting on his red buff. So we know that we want to go and kill him on his blue buff, which is the second buff. So the pathing, instead of a full clear from blue to red, would be blue, grump, red, into invading Amumu on his blue. The reason why I want to do that is because at level 3 we're basically stronger than Amumu. And by having the red buff, both of us will have red buff, but by having red buff you have an extra slow and extra burn damage. And then simply from Kha Zix's kit, just having more damage than the Amumu, we basically win that. Another thing you can do later into the game is you can buy mercs. Mercs also gives you 30% tenacity, so with the tenacity from your runes and mercs on top, you get 60% tenacity, which means that the CC duration that you are being CC'd by is less than half with these two things. Another thing you can do in the mid game is that you can buy a control ward and then you can put it into the enemy jungle. And I prefer to put it, wait, let's just watch me kill Graves here. There we go. I prefer to put it right here in this bush, because it gives me vision of whenever Amumu is going to Crux. Gives me a vision whenever Amumu is leaving his Crux to take his rat or his raptors. And if I'm playing on the opposite side of the map, then I like to put it right here. As you can see, the enemy team, actually no, we put this ward here, but if you put it right here at the edge of the bush, you get a lot of vision. And from this information we can basically go and invade Amumu efficiently. A general tip into this matchup is the fact that Amumu is really fast at clearing AoE jungle camps. He's really fast at clearing raptors, so there's not really any point in trying to kill him at raptors, because he's simply going to be clearing it like really fast. But he's really slow at clearing the single target camps, because all of his abilities are pretty much AoE. Like his W and his E, which are his main clearing abilities, are good against AoE, but they're really bad against single target camps. So this means that you can easily kill him on Grump, you can easily kill him on Red, you can easily kill him on Blue. And Scuttle even. The thing with Kha Zix is he's the exact opposite. He's really good at clearing single target camps because of his Q and his isolation damage, but he's really bad at clearing AoE jungle camps because he doesn't have isolation then, and he doesn't have as much AoE damage as Amumu does. In terms of items, we already talked about buying merc threads, which I recommend into Amumu. The main thing about Amumu is either he will go AP or he will go full tank. Mostly full tank is what most Amumu players will do. So let's take a look at what items you can buy to deal with a full tank Amumu. The first item is Black Cleaver. Black Cleaver is good against tanks in general, but it also makes yourself a little bit tanky. This basically means that you can now absorb a little bit more damage, while you can also deal with a tank. The second option is Last Whisper, that you can then upgrade into a Seryldas Grudge. This item will make you do more damage, but you're not any tankier, so you're still squishy, but you do more damage. So depending on the situation, if you need to tank more, I suggest that you go for a Black Cleaver. And if you just want to do more damage and don't really care that you're not tanky and you just want to like shred tanks, then go for Seryldas Grudge. If Amumu on the other hand is going full AP, then we can buy a Hexdrinker in the early game, which gives us both AD and MR and a magic damage shield, which will help us in the 1v1. And we can then upgrade that item into a Maw of Mortius for an even bigger shield, even more MR and even more AD. And of course cooldown reduction as well, or ability haste. So those are the items that you can buy against tank Amumu and full AP Amumu. So let's go into how do you want to play this matchup mechanically. So the main thing about Amumu is his Q in the early game. If you get hit by the Q, he is pretty much going to be in range to follow up his entire combo, being the W and the E, and also the ult later on when he hits 6. And with Kha Zix, you pretty much want to try and avoid this Q. So either you want to wait in a bush and wait for Amumu to use Q on a jungle camp. If he doesn't do that, then you want to try and bait out his Q by dodging it with your E. And if you then dodge his Q, then you're pretty much guaranteed to win the 1v1. If you don't dodge the Q, as long as you hit your W and you kite well with Q and autos, and you're passive, you're still going to be winning it, but I definitely recommend trying to dodge his Q with your E. And then last thing, if Amumu's Q and ulti is still too much CC for you, or if the enemy team has more CC than just an Amumu, and you don't feel like the 60% tenacity from the tenacity runes and merc threads are enough, then you can always buy QSS, which costs 1300 gold. I don't usually recommend this because it basically takes up an item slot, and it basically, yeah, it gives you MR, but it doesn't give you any AD, and you mainly just buy the QSS for the active of being able to remove CC. But if the CC is just too much for you, it is an option. It's not really something that I recommend, but it's at least an answer to the CC that Amumu has in his kit. And yeah, that's pretty much how you want to be playing the Amumu matchup. So if you enjoyed the video, remember to leave a like. If you want to see more content, remember to subscribe. If you have any questions regarding the Kha Zix Amumu matchup, leave in the comment section down below, or check out my stream over at twitch.tv/Kha Zix. You just ask me live on stream over there. The way that this series is going to work is we're going to go through it alphabetically. So we're starting with Amumu, and then we will move on alphabetically from there until we reach all the junglers. I'm not going to be taking like some secret pocket picks or whatever that you can pick a jungle. I'm just going to be picking like the junglers that are listed either on UGG or op.gg. And yeah, that's pretty much the series. So I hope you guys will enjoy, and I hope to see you guys either on my next live stream or in my next YouTube video. So thank you for watching, and see you.